Hello Internet, Hero of Holios, here to give my thoughts on How to Train Your Dragon 2. I just got back from watching it. It's pretty awesome. I'm gonna have to say it's one of the best films I've seen this year so far. It had a great opening, great plot, great characters, very nice character development for the main character. That's something I enjoy seeing, and not a lot of comic relief actually, as opposed to what I thought I would be seeing. I was walking into this thinking it would be more of a comedy, to be a little less serious than the trailers portrayed it as. I'm going to start now, say that there are spoilers for anyone who's watching this. There's definitely spoilers. I'm going to give away the ending and everything. I'll start at the beginning. The visuals for the opening are beautiful. I mean, I regret not seeing this in IMAX, and I will probably go and try and find a theater to see it in. But it starts off with dragon racing. It's been 5 years since the first film. Since the first story where Hiccup, saved his dragons from his father and got everyone to understand, and there's now peace and harmony, and so Hiccup is out building a world map now, slowly expanding it bit by bit by flying further and further each time with Toothless. He's avoiding his father right now at the start because his father's telling him that it's time for him to start thinking about being the chief, because now he's got to take over, because his dad's getting old. And also, he is now engaged to Astrid. That's cool. I mean, they had a little budding relationship, but I guess 5 years is enough time, definitely. There's this subplot going on where all the other guys are fighting over the twin girl who doesn't really care for either of them, but she's still arguing with her twin. They still share a two-headed dragon. It's kind of cool. Anyways, they move on. Astrid and Hiccup, they move a little bit, and they find this giant thing of ice. And they go to investigate, and there's these dragon hunters who trap the dragons. And they blame Hiccup and Astrid, calling them that they're the dragon riders who came and froze their base, and they got to get back to something Stonefist, not Stonefist, Bloodfist is like the bad guy of the movie. But Hiccup and Astrid manage to get away, and then they try to warn everyone that there's dragon hunters, and apparently Hiccup's father hears the name Bloodfist, and he's like, oh god, that guy killed all the other chieftains because we didn't accept his help in defending from the dragons. So he sicked all these dragons on him. So Stoic, Hiccup's father, decides to prepare for war, and Hiccup's like, no, I'm going to go prove to you that there is a peaceful way of doing this. So Hiccup, gets on Toothless, and the two of them fly off, and him and Astrid try to sneak, they get captured on purpose so that they can go meet Bloodfist, and all the other dragon riders interfere, and there's this guy who's the leader of the dragon capture people called, I don't know, it's East, Son of East or something. He's something Son of the exact same name, but Rust, Son of Rust, and the twin falls from. I'm really glad that they kept the subplot with the guys fighting over the twin to a minimum. They just kept it as a background every here and there thing, because the next part, after having an argument with his dad, Hiccup goes off on his own to think for a bit, and then he meets the dragon rider that caused the ice to form, and she like captures him and Toothless and brings them to the safe haven for dragons, and it's revealed to be his mom, who disappeared when he was a baby, and she's been taking care of the dragons this whole time. And at first I thought, oh great, this is just going to be environmental, save the dragons, save the elephants, save the whales kind of film, but it still stayed back to what it was. I'll get to that in a minute. Eventually, Hiccup's dad comes to save him from the people who kidnapped him, and he figures out it's his wife, and it turned into one of the most heartfelt scenes I've ever seen. I will admit I think I cried a little. But it was really heartwarming. It was touching to see them see each other again, and she's like, I know what you're thinking, how could I disappear for 20 years and never even try to come back? And he's like, you're just as beautiful as the day I lost you. And it's so cute. They share a song together, and it's so nice. Hiccup has his family again, and then all of a sudden the Blood Fist and his dragons attack, and I'm like, oh no, the plot, forgot about that. And so during the battle, the big alpha dragon from the sanctuary comes out to fight, and Bloodfist is like, this is awesome, because I just happen to have my own alpha dragon, which the two alpha dragons fight, but the bad alpha dragon wins, so Bloodfist wins, and then he tells the alpha to take control of the other dragons, so the bad alpha starts commanding all the other dragons, and then he turns Toothless into one of the bad dragons and tells him to attack Hiccup, and right before Toothless can shoot Hiccup, his father takes the hit. And I was like, wow. I mean, it was like Mufasa. It was like Mufasa's death, where Hiccup's just lying on top of his father. He's like, get up. No, you can't be dead. And his mom checks the pulse, and it just wasn't fair. It just wasn't fair. He had just got his family back together, and then they were separated again. And then they had a Viking funeral, and it was just kind of depressing, actually. I mean, like I said, I was expecting to laugh more than feel, but that is not what I ended up with. So after that, Hiccup finally realizes and grows up, and he's like, there actually isn't a peaceful way of doing this, and figures out what his dad meant. A chief protects his people, and that's what Hiccup does. He gets them all together, and he gets the baby dragons to ride into battle to distract the big alpha dragon, and then Hiccup gives Bloodfist one last chance to, turn your ways and, live in peace and harmony. And Bloodfist is like, well, I'm too big and strong for that, so I'm going to have you killed now. And the big alpha dragon breathes ice on him and Toothless, and all of a sudden, they're both encased in ice, and they lost. And it was sad. And then Toothless Mega evolved. You know how, like, in Pokemon, you use the Mega Stone and your Pokemon become Mega for a little bit? Toothless starts, like, glowing blue and shatters the ice, and then just starts smacking the Alpha Dragon in the face over and over and over again until all the other dragons are like, okay, Toothless is the new Alpha. So they all get on his side, and Bloodfist is all, up in arms about it, and he's, demanding that the dragons fight back, and Hiccup says, you've lost, and all the dragons start pelting the alpha dragon until it dives back into the ocean. I'm just assuming, I'm just assuming Bloodfist can't swim, or he might appear if they make a third movie. Maybe he's like half dead or something, but I don't know. There was nothing after the credits, so no hints or anything. But yeah, then the movie ends with Hiccup's mom promising to stay and be with him as his mother, and peace is restored throughout the land, and Berk is now the symbol of peace and harmony between Vikings and dragons, and that's it. That's where the movie ends. It ends in a nice little fireworks show, and it was really good. I'm gonna give the movie a 9 out of 10, personally. I love the scenes between the mom and the dad, Hiccup's parents. They're heartwarming. They are just as much in love as they were when Hiccup was a baby. And it reminds me of my parents. Not in the sense that, it's not like my parents were separated for 20 years, but I feel like that's how much my parents would act if they got reunited. So yeah, 9 out of 10, mostly because of the scenes between the parents and Hiccup's character growth. How Hiccup and Toothless both became as one. They became like a dragon and his rider, and they both became the chief and alpha of their people, and it definitely came to a nice close. I'm hoping there's a third, but I'd be okay if there isn't, because this movie closed all the gaps, and that the only way that there could be a third is if they created a new conflict. I think that's it. Those are my thoughts. Other than that, this is the Hero of Holios, Xing out.